My name is Jaden Walls. I want to make this video for viewers to see the dangers of juuling and also get information from our administrators. I hope this video inspires you to never vape in the future, and I hope that you learn and get information from this video. When I made this video, I wanted to get that information so that you can see it and so that you can share with your families and friends and people that you may connect with. Thank you. How many students are caught using vape pens in school? What is the strategy to stop juuling at school? What is the punishment for those who juul? And does the punishment change based on the number of offenses?
Multiple questions.
Yes,
So the number of students, off the top of my head, I don't have that exact number.
Mm-hmm.
I can tell you it's a growing issue over the past few years. More and more each year, it seems like the number has grown. We deal with it every week. We have kids that we're having to deal with in this regard every week. It actually falls under the tobacco policies, under the discipline code. That it could be a range of different consequences. I think a first offense typically is 2 days of in-school suspension, and at multiple offenses, it ratchets up from there.
Yeah,
because the discipline would increase as the number of incidents increase.
Mm-hmm. Well, thank you for that.
You're certainly welcome.
The study suggests that vaping may be a driving increase in nicotine use for teens. What is the school doing to raise awareness about juuling for the parents?
So I would agree. I've also read several studies
Yeah.
that are showing that. I also have talked to different people in hospitals that are talking about the increase of students that they're seeing that are being admitted to hospitals for what appear to be vaping or juuling related. Juul is actually a product name. Vaping in general, that issue is becoming a bigger issue and causing some health problems. And even some students, or some teens I should say, have died from what appears to be vaping, using vape products. As far as awareness, we as a district are actually looking at this as a whole. We talked about it in our district administrator meetings about adopting some sort of curriculum or outreach program to talk a little more and more about it. A lot of the outreach we have now is through student organizations that are doing little things here and there. It's something that's ramping up, and as we continue to deal with the issue, just trying to provide more and more resources. We don't have a clear curriculum or clear program right now that specifically speaks to it. If a student is involved in multiple offenses of this, we may be looking at a program we have here called SAPE that can work with people that have addictions to different things, and getting counseling through resources in the building.
That's good.
You keep calculating on my answers. I must be doing right then.
Yes, you are. That's a good response. Nicotine is highly addictive and can affect the developing brain, potentially harming teens and young adults. What is the school doing to educate students on the dangers of juuling?
You are absolutely correct, and I mean this is scientific fact that nicotine does have a negative effect, especially in the teen years, middle school, high school years, where the body and brain are still probably at their most sensitive development stages in a child's development. We are certainly talking about these things in our health classes, which is a required course to teach. But then the other programs that we're talking about, possibly working into curriculum or just being a public awareness piece, those are things that are going to be coming that we can help with. But primarily any kind of curriculum-based approach is done through health classes.
Yeah.
I'm talking about the dangers of juuling and smoking.
Officer Hallback.
Hello, sir. How are you?
I'm doing excellent. I have a question for you. Have you ever wondered why students do these things to harm themselves? And what I mean by that is students who vape, juul.
I think vaping in general is like a fad. So I think they see other people doing it and they know there's some danger to it.
Yeah.
But they're like, oh, those kids aren't getting hurt by it. So is it going to hurt me? And I think it's more of the challenge that they feel because of society. You know, like everybody's doing it, so I have to do it. It's like when you buy a pair of shoes sometimes, everybody's like, hey man, I love those shoes, where'd you get them?
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? So next thing you know, it turns into a fad. And I think with addictions, especially like that, they try it once, then they get addicted, and then it becomes part of their life.
Yeah.
And then they don't realize that the time does take an effect on your body, and they might not see it now. They could be in their 30s or 40s and have repercussions from vaping now. Because it's just like with cigarettes back in the day, people didn't know all the damages and it was going to cause cancer down the road and all those things as bad as it did. And so now, you know, people take things for granted, and this stuff still hasn't been fully tested, and we don't have the longevity figured out on when something might happen to someone, right? So, and everybody's body type is different. Some people that vape, they get sick right away. So, the main thing to your question is, though, I think that kids in general, I was a kid once too. You see something, you're like, hey, you know, I want to do that too. So we all make mistakes, and hopefully you recover, and you know, you look back in high school and you're like, oh man, why did I do those things? But then some people still do, you know. So no, it's a great question. You know, it's like, why do baseball players chew tobacco? You know, there's a lot of reasons if you look at the bigger picture, but it's a great question, and I think that still falls in that line of peer pressure and trying to be like everybody else and just fit in. And I think that's where it's derived from.
Yeah.
So.
Well, thank you, Officer Hopat.
No problem.
For your time.
Anytime.
I hope you enjoy learning about the effects vaping can have on you. Don't let peer pressure get to you. Thank you.